Hello dear friends and welcome. Today I am going to deliver a lecture on mitochondrial mutations in Neurospora and yeast, maternal effects, infective heredity, that's kappa particles in paramecium. To begin with, let me first of all highlight the objectives of today's deliberation. At first, we will try to study the mitochondrial mutations in Neurospora. Then, we will try to have a look at the mitochondrial mutations in yeast. Then, we will have a look at the concept of maternal effects, and finally, we shall be discussing the kappa particles in paramecium. Now, we will start with the mitochondrial mutations in Neurospora. Neurospora is a genus of ascomycete fungi. The genus name, meaning neurospore, refers to the characteristic striations on the spores that resemble axons. The best known species in this genus is Neurospora crassa, a common model organism in biology. Neurospora species are molds with broadly spreading colonies with abundant production of ascomata. Neurospora is widely used in genetics as a model organism, especially Neurospora crassa, because it is quickly reproducing, is easy to culture and can survive on minimal media. Neurospora was used by Edward Tatum and George Wells Beadle in their experiments, for which they won the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1958. Beadle and Tatum exposed Neurospora crassa to X-rays causing mutations. They then observed failures in metabolic pathways caused by errors in specific enzymes. This led them to propose the one gene, one enzyme hypothesis that specific genes code for specific proteins. Their hypothesis was later elaborated to enzyme pathways by Norman Horowitz, also working on Neurospora. Now, coming to the life cycle of Neurospora. The haploid mycelium reproduces asexually by two processes. Number first, simple proliferation of existing mycelium, and number second, formation of conidia, that is macro and microconidia, which can be dispersed and then germinate to produce new mycelium. Genetic analysis of the mitochondria of Neurospora has focused partly on the widely used standard inbred laboratory strains of Neurospora crassa and partly on natural isolates of a variety of Neurospora species, mainly Neurospora crassa, Neurospora intermedia and Neurospora tetrasperma. Mitochondria are normally transmitted through the maternal, that is, protoperithecial parent. Cytoplasmic inheritance can thus be distinguished from Mendelian inheritance of chromosomal genes by making reciprocal crosses and showing that the trait in question is not transmitted when it is present in the male parent. Muted mitochondria and mitochondrial plasmids are also capable of vegetative transmission when heterokaryons are formed. The first mitochondrial mutants in Neurospora involved respiratory defects resulting from mitochondrial deletions. Individual mitochondrial genes were subsequently identified that involved either the respiratory chain, ATP synthesis or the translation apparatus. Mitochondrial plasmids resemble mitochondrial mutations in their mode of transmission. Exceptions exist where muted mitochondria or mitochondrial plasmids of paternal origin have been recovered in progeny. Transmission of mitochondrial plasmids from the male parent is normally blocked by heterokaryon incompatibility. A strain of Neurospora crassa containing a cytoplasmic mutation, that is POKI mutation, affecting mitochondrial function is shown to be deficient in small ribosomal subunits in the mitochondrion during the exponential growth phase. In the stationary growth phase, small subunits are more abundant and are present in mitochondrial ribosomal monomers. This change can be correlated with the return of mitochondrial cytochrome content to amounts approaching those of wild-type mitochondria. The ribosomal defect shows an extrachromosomal pattern of inheritance in crosses of POKI with wild-type. POCI is characterized by its very slow growth compared to the normal one. This slow growth has been traced to impaired mitochondrial function related to certain cytochromes. Cytochrome A, B, C all are found in wild type, while cytochrome A and B are absent and cytochrome C is in excess in POCI mutants. The pattern of inheritance of POCI is strictly maternal and is illustrated in the two reciprocal crosses. When we cross a POCI female with a normal male, we get a progeny that is all POCI. And when we cross a normal female with a POCI male, we get a progeny that is all normal. Here we can see that in each cross, the phenotype of the progeny is identical to the phenotype of the female parent. Now, let us discuss the mitochondrial mutations in yeast. Yeasts are eukaryotic microorganisms classified as members of the fungus kingdom with 1500 species currently identified and are estimated to constitute 1% of all described fungal species. Yeasts are unicellular and their sizes vary greatly depending on species and environment, typically measuring 3 to 4 micrometers in diameter. Most yeasts reproduce asexually by mitosis and many do so by the asymmetric division process known as budding. Yeasts do not form a single taxonomic or phylogenetic grouping. The term yeast is often taken as a synonym for Saccharomyces cerevisiae, but the phylogenetic diversity of yeast is shown by their placement in two separate phyla, the Ascomycota and the Basidiomycota. The budding yeasts, that is true yeasts, are classified in the order Saccharomycetales. Yeast typically grows asexually by budding. A small bud which will become the daughter cell is formed on the parent, that is mother cell, and enlarges with continued growth. As the daughter cell grows, the mother cell duplicates and then segregates its DNA. The nucleus divides and migrates into the daughter cell. Once the bud contains a nucleus and reaches a certain size, it separates from the mother cell. As long as adequate nutrients such as sugar, nitrogen and phosphate are present, yeast cells will continue to divide asexually. Studies of respiratory deficient strains of Baker's yeast, that is Saccharomyces cerevisiae, indicate clearly the inheritance of mitochondrial genes. Yeasts are unicellular ascomycete fungi. In the life cycle of some species, diploid and haploid adults alternate. The former species reproduces by meiospores called ascospores and the latter reproduces by budding. Respiratory deficient strains are able to respire only anaerobically and on agar produce characteristically small colonies known as petite. Both nuclear and cytoplasmic controls could affect this trait. The petite mutant can be segregational that follow Mendelian segregation and therefore presumably controlled by chromosomal genes, or may be more often vegetative, that is non-segregational or extra-chromosomal. The genetic basis of petite character is a cytoplasmic factor P positive, which may be absent or defective in petites. The petite mutation in Saccharomyces cerevisiae is manifested by a lack of respiration and an absence of cytochrome AA3 plus B. The mutation, which occurs spontaneously at a high frequency, that is approximately 1% of cells per generation, is cytoplasmically inherited and is associated with large deletions from mitochondrial DNA. When crosses are performed between newly arisen spontaneous petite mutants of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, respiratory competent colonies can form. Some of the restored colonies are highly sectored and produce large number of petite mutants. The high frequency petite formation trait is inherited in a non-Mendelian manner, and elimination of mitochondrial DNA from the strains results in the loss of trait. These results indicate that abnormal mitochondrial genomes are sometimes formed during restoration of respiratory competence. It is hypothesized that these abnormalities result either from recombination between mitochondrial DNA fragments to produce molecules having partial duplications contained on inverted or transposed sequences, or else recombinational hotspots have been expanded. Petit is a mutant first discovered in the yeast Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Due to defect in the respiratory chain, petit yeast are unable to grow on media containing only non-fermentable carbon sources such as glycerol or ethanol, and form small anaerobic colonies when grown in the presence of fermentable carbon sources such as glucose. The petit phenotype can be caused by the absence of or mutations in mitochondrial DNA termed as cytoplasmic petites, or by mutations in nuclear encoded genes involved in oxidative phosphorylation. A neutral petit produces all wild type progeny when crossed with wild type. Petit mutations can be induced using a variety of mutagens, including DNA intercalating agents as well as chemicals that can interfere with DNA synthesis in growing cells. Mutagens that create petites are implicated in increased rates of degenerative diseases and in the aging process. Recent advances in yeast mitogenomics have significantly contributed to our understanding of the diversity of organization, structure and topology in the mitochondrial genome of budding yeasts. Now, let us discuss the concept of maternal effects. A maternal effect is a situation where the phenotype of an organism is determined not only by the environment it experiences and its genotype, but also by the environment and genotype of its mother. In genetics, maternal effects occur when an organism shows the phenotype expected from the genotype of the mother irrespective of its own genotype, often due to the mother supplying mRNA or proteins to the egg. Maternal effects can also be caused by the maternal environment independent of genotype, sometimes controlling the size, sex or behavior of the offspring. These adaptive maternal effects lead to the phenotypes of offspring that increase their fitness. Further, it introduces the concept of phenotypic plasticity, an important evolutionary concept. It has been proposed that maternal effects are important for the evolution of adaptive responses to environmental heterogeneity. Maternal effects can be seen in the way a mother provisions her eggs with mRNA, proteins, hormones or antibodies which can control the size, sex, growth or behavior of her offspring. Mothers can also directly influence their offspring through their own behavioral traits. Behaviors like nursing, grooming, predator defense and decisions on when and where to lay eggs can all affect the offspring and its survival. Maternal effects can produce meaningful variation in a population upon which selection can act. Selection acting on these traits will naturally affect the fitness of such organisms and therefore the evolutionary dynamics of the population, particularly with respect to the evolution of offspring traits subject to maternal effects and the maternal traits themselves. Maternal effect, the expression of the maternal nuclear genotype during gametogenesis and during early development, may have a strong influence on the phenotype of an organism. A distinct case of maternal effect was discovered in flower moth, that is Ephistia cuniella by Caspary in 1936. Dark brown eyes and presence of pigment in other parts of the body in this moth are controlled by a dominant gene A responsible for production of a pigment precursor kynurenine. Homozygous recessive AA lacks kynurenine so that it exhibits absence of pigment and the eyes therefore have red color. When heterozygote, which is capital A small a and is pigmented, is crossed to non-pigmented homozygous recessive, which is small a, as expected, progeny segregates into one capital A small a and one small a, which phenotypically gives the ratio one pigmented and one non-pigmented. In the reciprocal cross, pigmented capital A small a when crossed with non-pigmented small a, the progeny, that is one capital A small a and one small a had all the early larvae pigmented. In this case, however, when larvae matured, only half of them, that is capital A small a, were dark brown eyed, the other half, that is small a, were red eyed. The homozygous, that is small a pigmented larvae received their egg cytoplasm from mother, that is capital A small a, and therefore had kynurenine in early stages of development, but they were incapable of synthesizing their own kynurenine in the absence of dominant allele and hence loss of pigment in adult moth. Now at last, let us try to learn about infectious heredity, that is kappa particles in paramecium. Many invading organisms or particles are also cytoplasmically transmitted to induce a phenotype. Such an inheritance is called infectious heredity. In the host cell or organism, the microorganisms strike a symbiotic relation and invade through the maternal ooplasm. The best example of infectious heredity is seen in the case of kappa particles in paramecium. Paramecium are members of the phylum Coeliophora. They share many common characteristics with the rest of their phylum, but are also unique. For example, their shape is quite different from that of many other Coeliophora. Most species can be cultivated easily in the labs, making them ideal model organisms well suited for biological study. Kappa particles in paramecium are other classical example for extrachromosomal inheritance, where the phenotype not only depends on the cytoplasm but also on the genetic material of the nucleus. T. M. Sonborn described the inheritance of kappa and their relation to nuclear gene in the common ciliate protozoan, that is Paramecium aurelia. Kappa organism or kappa particle refers to the inheritable cytoplasmic symbionts occurring in some strains of paramecium. Kappa particles produce a protein called paramycin that kills the sensitive citrane without kappa particles. The citrane with the kappa particle is called as killer or resistant citrane, and the other citrane is called as sensitive citrane. Gene responsible for producing kappa particles is present in homozygous or heterozygous dominant condition in killer citrane, while it is present in recessive form in sensitive citrane. Paramecium reproduces both by sexual and asexual mode. During asexual reproduction, when conditions favor, the cells undergo cell division, while the kappa particles cannot divide at the same rate. Therefore, the daughter cells receive less number of kappa particles, and after few generations there can be complete loss of kappa particles. In this situation, citranes with dominant alleles remain without any kappa particles. This proves the gene for kappa particles can only help in multiplication of existing kappa particles. During sexual reproduction, when two opposite citranes conjugate, the killer citrane and the sensitive citrane remain as the period of conjugation is less. When conjugation period increases, the kappa particles move from killer citrane to sensitive citrane through conjugation tube, converting sensitive citrane to killer citrane. Kappa particles are Fuelgen positive and stain with Giemsa after acid hydrolysis. The length of the particles is 0.2 to 0.5 microns. The particles are considered to be intracellular symbiotes occupying a position between viruses and bacteria. The production of kappa particles is dependent on a dominant allele, that is capital K, so that killer citranes are capital K or capital K small k, and sensitive citranes are ordinarily small k. In absence of dominant allele, that is capital K, kappa particles cannot multiply, and in absence of kappa particles, dominant allele, that is capital K, cannot produce them de novo. Consequently, sensitive citranes with genotypes capital K or small k can be obtained. These will not carry any kappa particles. However, killer strain with genotype k cannot be obtained because even if kappa particles are present, these would be lost in the absence of dominant allele. If paramecium clones with genotype K or K are allowed to multiply asexually at such a fast rate that division of kappa particles cannot keep pace with division of cells, kappa particles will be eventually lost. Consequently, sensitive strains with dominant genotype, that is K or K having no kappa particles would be obtained. If the killer, that is K and sensitive, that is k strains are allowed to conjugate, all X conjugates, that is the cells separating after conjugation, will have same genotype, that is K. Phenotypes of these X conjugates will, however, depend upon duration for which conjugation is allowed. If conjugation does not persist long enough for exchange of cytoplasm, heterozygote, that is K X conjugates will only have parental phenotypes. It means that killers will remain killers and sensitive will remain sensitive even after conjugation. If conjugation persists, sensitive strain will receive kappa particles and will become killer, so that X conjugates will be killers having genotype K. Extrachromosomal inheritance has some practical advantages in agriculture and can also be used in prediction of diseases in humans for counseling. In plants, cytoplasmic male sterility trait can be used in plant breeding. A recent study involving congenital heart disease parents showed that the risk of getting congenital heart disease in the progeny was higher if the mother is affected rather than father. The advanced research on extrachromosomal inheritance associated with human diseases will go a long way in genetic counseling. That's all about today's lecture. Hope you have understood it very well. Thank you very much and goodbye.